Not trying to diminish it. I mean, everyone who's with us heard the scream.
What is the forget it, I'm halfway home? Oh, Joe.
Joe Ardinger.
Joe Ardinger, who hated me ever since that day, right? Why was Joe mad?
Joe and you never got along. I never understood that because Joe is about the most easygoing idiot you've ever met. He liked everybody. And for some reason, you two had friction. But the problem is you had set up a table for everyone on the show to come out for St. Patrick's Day.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's a little window into my soul right. Joe and I never got along. That's the way to lay it squarely on me. Where
I think it was because Joe was a weird guy. It's just I always found it surprising. But you had set up a table for everyone in the show plus ones to come and have St. Patrick's Day. I think it was the first St. Patrick's Day at O'Mara's.
I think it was. I think the Junkies came and Big O and Dukes came.
Gorgeous. It was so much fun to get there. But for some reason, the doorman didn't let Joe in because I don't know why. He was supposed to be on a list, and
that
he wasn't.
changed it, right? Isn't that when it flipped? I think that's when it officially flipped. That wasn't
great. It was him and his wife or woman or whatever, Tracy, baby.
God, you got a good memory for crap. Man, that is absolutely what happened. That's
so
what it was.
He didn't get in, and finally, this is almost pre-cell phone. And I get a call on my cell phone, and it's Joe.
Rosenbaum. Joe is a tool.
He was.
He's not deceased, is he?
No, well, I can't comment to him now. I'm sure he's still a powerful force in the power washing business.
Hold on, Josh is coming back here.
Okay.
Josh, I'm sorry about that.
It was a lot.
All right. And to finish the story, Mike, by the time Joe called me, I said, well, come on back. I can get you on the list. And he said, forget it. I'm halfway home.
Yeah. And then it went, and I was hated from that moment. If I wasn't hated before, I was certainly hated after that. I think that's what it was.
It was not a good moment for him, but I had a lovely time.
Joe's happiest moments would be when something would go sideways for me. When I would get in trouble or I would get yelled at by the boss. That's right. Wouldn't that be accurate?
I didn't remember
and Joe would pile on more than anybody would pile on me. You know?
I think
like when I would do the many solo shows where Rob, can you explain to Josh Soroka how it was set up for me to do solo shows? When you're working with someone who is in control to the point of total control.
I was surprised you were allowed to have a solo show.
I was allowed, but it was not. Let's just put it that Rob could probably articulate it better than I could, but it was not. It wasn't where I was set up for success.
No, when the primary talent was not available to broadcast, a lot of times it was snow related. Because I don't know if you know this, Josh, Great Falls, Virginia will get 6 times the amount of snow as anywhere else in the DMV, making it impassable roads. So it would be set up for Mike to do the solo show. And eventually we were pretty comfortable with it, where I would run the board and you would be the lead. And then we had whatever staff was the staff in the back room. However, a lot of times we were told behind the scenes stuff that we weren't allowed to do. And then also things that should be saved until the entire staff was there. Certain things that would have been what I would call easy home run bits that were held back. And
also, I imagine if he's snowed in, all he's doing is listening and critiquing.
He would call in. He would call in.
Yeah. The calls were better on sick days. If I'm remembering right. This is just one man's recollection.
And Joe, I think I worked with Joe at one point.
Yeah.
And his comment was, I can't work with O'Mara.
Oh, you know why? Because, oh my God, I'd forgotten about this. This is why that didn't ring that fresh for me. When we were by ourselves doing the show after Frida passed, that's when Robert was diagnosed with leukemia. Mm-hmm. So like when we were doing a week of solo shows, I got yanked out. So it was you and Joe. And if I had to set up you mentioned the flag earlier of Ireland. Yeah. If I had a flag to symbolize that situation, it would be Mike trying to broadcast and Joe tying a rope around Mike and pulling backwards as hard as he could for 4 straight hours. He was not
fun.
helpful. No,
It was not a good time for anybody.
he did
of
not
course.
have a co-host energy, I would say.
It was just a weird deal. And if I can be honest though, one of my proudest moments when I had the whole cast and crew out to my joint on St. Patrick's Day, and you were talking about some of my best ones, and then I think maybe the week after or the day after or whatever, one of the cast members was told by their spouse, why didn't you come up with that idea? And it was a smooth sailing for me in the restaurant business after that.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, and as far as
Did the plugs go away?
Were
you no longer allowed to mention?
it was never referred to as anything other than Hank's Look Around Cafe.
Yeah, it was almost
Which was about as diminishing and derogatory a term you could find for, Hank Kingsley on the Larry Sanders Show, who was the idiot sidekick, and it was his restaurant that rotated.
Well, I'm sure mentioning the name wouldn't have helped your business.
Not at all. No, not one little bit. So it was, it's just memories that I have. I hate to be negative, but that's really what it was, And then flash forward to the other sad moment where I God rest her soul, I think my mom hung on to life through the 18th. But it didn't keep the people in the newspaper from crediting her with passing on St. Patrick's Day by
That's
saying
a better story.
Yeah, it was.